Hi, this is Matt from Skybow. You're not happy how you can visualize your processes in SharePoint for your users? Then we have the right control for you. It's a new control you can add on the top and visualize the process like here. And you can choose from 3 different layouts. So here you can see 2 of them. One is this one here, which have these boxes. Another one is the one below. So those are 2 different layouts. There's a third one I can show you in the demo. Yeah, you can also add custom styles to them because right now you see it's all in this green color, so that's the skybow default. But of course, like all the other controls, you can also add your custom styles, applying the theme colors to those steps. That's how you can change and adjust this control to your needs. If you have built your processes based on some steps, shouldn't be visible all the time. You can also hide certain steps using our powerful expression language. I will show you one scenario where I do this in the demo. As you can see below the actual status or the actual phase in my scenario, we can also show a description for each step, static, or what I'm doing here is it's a dynamic description. So the description is really showing the current status of the process. So we have like a phase up here, 4 phases, but we can have different statuses, and I can show the actual status just below. Or another scenario I will show in the demo is to show, for example, the guy who is requesting or who is verifying, approving the person. You can show below. You can specify for each step if it should be represented using an icon like here or a number, just a number. So here in that scenario, I'm using a number, 1, 2, 3, 4. And in this one, those are different icons. There are different icons for unpassed, active, and passed, and those you can completely customize. I'm using again the expense demo that I was demonstrating already a couple of times. So in that expense case, we have this phase. It's based on a phase, and you see them using out of the box column formatting. So this is not the process steps control that's done out of the box. We have a combination of a phase. We have these 4 phases, but in each phase we have a different status. So in finished, it can be approved, but it can also be finished and declined. And it can be declined by the management, but it can also be declined by the line manager. So we have different phases. And the same is for the preparation, for example. It can be just created. Or someone says, oh, I have missing information, it will be sent back. And this looks like that. If I open up that item, I've added that control on the top. And as you can see, we have now the phase verifying line manager. That's the phase here. That's the active one. That's why we have the play button. And we already finished the preparation. That's why it has that check mark. The status is submitted only. That's why I show that submitted below. If we look at an approved one, then we will see it all is completed, both parties approved, and now it's finished, it's approved. It's green, that's just the standard one. What I can do as well is if it gets declined, for example, and let's first take the declined by management, so that's the second phase, same control, but we've added some custom styles. It's clear, okay, that gets declined. It's declined by the management. That's why this one has declined, but this one, this person approved. But then second phase, it got declined. Another case would be if I have declined by line manager. So that was the first approver. It's also finished. It's declined by the line manager. This time, this is marked in red. And this one has a style which is like gray, it's skipped. So as soon as this guy declines, it automatically goes to finish, and that's what I want to represent over here. Those are different scenarios. And now if we look into the backend, how we can configure something like that, just one control. We can go pressing the plus on our, in most cases we use the display form to do that. So we scroll down or just type in process steps, that's this new control. And if I add it to the form, it's configured in a couple of clicks. We first have to choose the choice column, and it's only based on choice columns. So we have 4 choice columns on my list. And as you can see, as soon as you choose another column, it shows you the steps that you can customize. So those are the steps that are configured in these choice field. That was the phase. So we have these 4 steps. Or if I would go for the status, we would see, okay, we have many more. But in my scenario, I was choosing the phase. That's the first thing to choose. What it will be the base information. And then we have the layout. And here I showed you this one. We can also use that one below or the one in the middle. If I choose a layout, down here we have all the steps. They are added already, so you can just click on each step, and then you can you have a couple of configuration options. First of all, main thing is here, so how it is connected. So how do we know, okay, that's the preparation, so that's this one here. That's the connection to the actual value. And but you can still have another display name if you want to say, if you want to add a number to the display name, feel free, or maybe another value than what's really in the field. You can do that here. You can add a description to the field, a static one. I'll show you that one afterwards. We can add a visible expression to each step. I have another scenario for that one later on. It's optional. And down here, I can choose default is icon. And as you can see, you can choose, like always, you can choose from all the available icons. Those are the 3 default ones. So it's passed, it's active, and it's unpassed. Or you can simply change to be a number only. And you say, okay, now this is a number. This one doesn't make sense because I've added the number already here. So I'm switching back to the icons. And that's it already. I can say okay, and it looks almost the same. But that's how simple it is to set it up. You can switch to another layout. Let's take this one. Okay, and you already have another one. You see the description is below. We have this one here, and we automatically know where we are. So what I've done down here, so let me quickly delete that one once again. What I've done here, if we go into the configuration, it looks pretty much the same. One thing I've done here is I've added a dynamic description. So the skier icon is just an icon from Windows point, and then you can add an icon, and then it's dynamic. I can write hard code to a fixed description, or here I'm using our expression builder, and it always shows the current status by this placeholder, because I don't want to show, because I have that added to all of them. Every step is having that status, because in every step I want to show it below. If I would just show this below, we would have requests submitted here, 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 and here. And that's not what I want. That's why we have that last option to say display the description on active state only. So we only see the status below the active state or the description only for the one which is active. So here it's below that one, and in another one it's below that one because that one is active. I don't want to show it in all of them. In my case, that's how I configured it. I just added the same description on every step, and that's it. For the styling, I can access it directly from here. We have the possibility to add styles in general. So for the process steps in general, what I've done here, if you scroll down to this first row, at the command bar, it shows all those actions here. And then we have the first row, first column, that's this one, and then the process steps. And I've just added a couple of styles to each step. For example, the declined style makes it red, the past one, and I'm just loading that style if the status is declined by line manager. And then I have another one for the missing information, which is only loaded if the status is missing information line manager. That will turn this here. I didn't show you that one. So if you have missing information, that's if someone is saying, hey, something is missing, it goes back to preparation. So we are again here with missing information. I want to visualize that this missing information was coming from that management team and not from the line manager. I mean, it's stated here as well, but still makes it much more visually visible having this style added. That's why I've added this missing information here. The same is for the verified line manager. I have a declined and the missing information, plus another one for the skipped, this gray style. That's this one. And if it's declined by line manager, then this one is skipped. So this is loaded. Finished is green, just as default if it's approved. And if it's declined, then we load again this red style. And that's how I can make my process even more user-friendly. Combination of this new control and the styles, very, very cool to visualize it. A simple leave request. So you want to request a vacation or illness, military, whatever. This one is only based on one single field. This is a status field, and show you it has 3 status. It's requested, it's approved, or declined. Here I'm using this visual expression because I don't want to show requested, approved, declined all the time. I just want to show requested and approved. As long as it's not approved, the goal is to get it approved, right? So I will show the approved one here. So I only show 2. If it's approved, then it's still approved. Here I've added another style, but that's something outside of this control. But I also added a custom style to the tab here. But it's approved, it's green, all good. Here I added some dynamic information about who requested and who approved. So that's also interesting. Of course, I could also show it somewhere down here. Okay, manager is John and I'm the requester. But it's much easier to have it in an overview just up here. Main difference here is if it's declined. If it's declined, I hide the approved, I show the declined one, and it's red again. So that's the same approach as in the previous example. But that's where we're going to use the visible expression. So if we have a look into that in the background, we see in the admin view, we see all of them, and it's configured exactly the same. I choose the status, the layout, and I have these 3. Here it's static. You see it's always there, always below requested. I show by author, and the author is the dynamic person who requested. So nothing dynamic, no visible expression, just as it is. The approved shows by manager, and only if it is approved. That's why it's here saying yes, only if it's there. If it's still not approved, I will not show this person because it's not yet approved. And in the visible expression, I'm saying only show it if it's not declined. So if it's declined, do not show it. In all the other cases, I will show the approved one, even if it's unpassed. And the only difference to the declined is not equal, it is equal. So here, if we go to decline, it's equal. The rest is the same by manager, and that's how I show and hide based on the status. I show and hide a certain status. And of course, the rest is also just using styles. So forget about that one. It's just having one single style. It's the one for the declined, which is again this red one. I don't even need a condition here because it's anyway just visible if it's declined. Otherwise, I can also add a visible expression, a condition here. But yeah, like I said, it's just loaded if it's declined, and then yeah, it can be loaded with that style automatically.
I hope I was able to show you how you can visualize the processes in SharePoint and make it much easier for the end users to know where they are and what's coming next, which is simply increasing the user acceptance.